everybody. Welcome. It's Thursday night. Welcome to the Cantina Happy Hour. Pull up a stool, grab yourself a drink, and let's talk about some Star Wars. I am your host, David. With me, as always, are my co-hosts, Debbie. Debbie, how are you this evening?
Doing well.
Awesome. Also with us tonight is Andrew. Andrew, how are you tonight?
Doing good. Excited to talk about these episodes because holy cow.
It was an amazing ending to, I don't care what. Excuse me, I had coffee going down the wrong way. I don't care what John says. Biscardi, did you see what his was?
Yeah.
His comment on Facebook. Oh, something about a lackluster ending. Expected more.
Oh, yeah, I did because I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, Andor's the first show in TV history, I believe. I don't remember, or maybe there was a gap of time to have 5 straight episodes have above a 9 on IMDb, and it's 5 of the last 6 have that.
I'm not sure what he was expecting.
Are we watching the same show?
Maybe he was hoping for something similar to the previous arc, you know, but it's just like, no.
Why would it? No, that doesn't make any sense. You can't do that all the time. You can't be Michael Bay all the time. I'm sorry.
Well, I had heard some people say that they wish that the show ended on the last 3 episodes instead of this final arc. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
You still don't know how he gets to be where he goes.
Exactly.
In Rogue One.
And you've got a lot of characters too that are dealt with in this show that you don't, and they're not dealt with in Rogue One. They're not there in Rogue One. So you need to find, like Luthen.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a big player in this series, and it's like, well, why would he in Rogue One? Well, we kind of find that out.
Yeah, because if you would have ended it on last week's arc, then people would have been bitching. Well, you didn't tie up any of the storylines, because there's multiple storylines going on. And people just find stuff to bitch about.
Exactly.
That's why I don't like people. So.
Well, I mean, that just it sums up Star Wars fans. I mean, you give them, you feed them well, and they complain about, I don't know, whatever.
They complain about the dessert being wrong.
Exactly. It's like,
Marvel's the same way anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Can't go into a Marvel comment section without seeing people complain about something, and the other person's like, "Oh, are you kidding me? That was great." But yeah, so it's everywhere in every fandom.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so let's get into this. So the first of these 3 episodes didn't really deal with Andor at all. I don't.
He was not even in that. He's not in episode.
I don't even think he was in it.
This was Luthen's backstory.
But
pretty
this
much.
This was there you go, Andrew. This was your flashback episode right here.
Finally, it only took 5 shows.
But they did it well.
Right. It was necessary.
It wasn't like the whole episode was a flashback kind of thing. There was stuff going on, and as she was doing things, it
wasn't like we need to fill some time.
Yeah, it was she was remembering, and it wasn't even like a full backstory for him either. It was more just, here's a little snippet of something that kind of added to what his character was. It wasn't a full-on, in-your-face, okay, he was born and he grew up and his parents hated him and blah, 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 blah. Wasn't any of that. It was, you just kind of get a glimpse into how his character was created. So,
and just an imperial soldier who got tired of it all.
Yeah.
All the killing and everything. I mean, they're on, I don't know what planet it was, but basically wiping out a settlement, genocide. And somehow she had snuck into the cargo bay or whatever. And, I think he was just like, yeah, I'm over it. We're killing innocent people.
I like to think he was on the same planet as Han Solo was on when he defected.
Well, he was wearing a mud suit, but but it was
Someone
very
pointed
windy
that out.
and dusty there. So
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
What?
Whoa!
Oh,
What happened,
Hello?
Debbie?
What happened?
I don't know.
I
You
don't
just
know.
fell off.
You fell off. What's happened? This has never happened. It's
Oh,
usually
no,
me.
I have internet. I don't know what's going on. What the hell?
Usually it bumps everybody. It was just you this time.
Yeah. I
Maybe
guess I offended somebody.
I was going to say, did you offend the internet gods?
You did. You called people out, and they didn't like it.
You called out the Star
Run
Wars
it off
fandom.
the island. I like how he, because his name was actually Lear, so he just reversed his letters to make it Rael. That was cool.
I like the way that the actress, the young actress that they found one, she was good. Again, they found a very good child actor. Okay, we experienced this in Skeleton Crew, and then again here, she pulled off her characteristics brilliantly. But not only that, she looked a heck of a lot like her too. I mean, it was frightening. I was like, "Is that like a little sister, or maybe that's her daughter?" You know,
anything can happen.
Did y'all know that it was pretty obvious, but that planet where he does the explosion on the bridge is Naboo. Yeah, there were some people saying it wasn't, and I was like, it looks a lot like it.
You could tell just by the architecture. That was Naboo. And I think, I don't know, I watched something today that verified it was Naboo.
I think Gilroy said in an interview that it was. They even filmed.
Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, obviously, the Empire has occupation everywhere. Why not?
But I like the part of don't look until after the explosion, because that would be like, oh, it's obviously you guys.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, just teaching her along the way and doing his trading up for collectibles or whatnot. Just, kept trading up. So evidently that's something they've done. And, she asked, am I your daughter now? He goes, well, one is useful.
And then the whole, she's obviously a good talk. Well, so-and-so at the front gate said they'd give us
15
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 18 and no smile.
I think she had a bit of a, I wouldn't say she looked up to him as a father. I think she had a bit of a love-hate relationship with him.
Well, and especially when she got mad at him with why aren't you doing anything? Or you're not doing anything. Now, all of this, of course, is building up because Dedra ID'd him. She was coming after him. I love the way she did that too. She pulled out the radio or whatever that was from the TIE fighter, which was
Star Path,
which was prominent in the first season. I mean, I think that was his first kind of his first little mission there, wasn't it? As far as Cassian goes, was swiping that thing. So he goes in. She's identified herself. Has already started we're burning the evidence. We're getting rid of things. And then he self-sacrifices. He tries to unalive himself. Harry Carey.
I was shocked because she was not expecting that at all. I don't know if she just thought he would, okay, take me in. I was like, no, you do not know this man.
He tells her, he says, there's people that are going to disgust you and stuff like that. And she's like, she's just not believing it. And I'm like, why would you leave the dagger with him? Like, you're telling him there's no way out.
She turned her back.
Right.
Because she noticed the smoke.
Yeah, she was like, oh, you're destroying the evidence.
But still, you never turn your back.
No. You've told
That's
this.
not protocol.
Yeah, you've told him there's no way out. He's being taken one way or another. What do you expect him to do?
That, and you got to look at it too, to where, she's told him there's no way out, and
he knew he was a liability.
Yeah, he knew he was a liability, and he knew that was his only way out without talking. You know, it was going to be either that or suffer through torture and whatnot. And
same with Lonnie. That's why he killed him. He knew that his family was safer.
The thing with him, okay, so yeah, which was, it was funny. Did you read the title card for this episode on Disney Plus? Says
make it stop.
No, make it stop. But then it just kind of a little brief description where it's like he says Lonnie bows out or something like that. I was like, he didn't bow out, he got killed. He bowed out.
Yeah,
Luthen bowed him out.
that was sad. But as soon as Luthen, because Lonnie was like, "Where are you going to take us?" And Luthen said, "Yavin." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the end of Lonnie. He's gone." Because there's no way.
Well,
Luthen would let him stay alive with that information.
So through this whole thing, Luthen through both seasons, Luthen has somewhat been a mentor to Cassian, taught him how to do things. Now look at the similarities between that. He got all the information out of him that he needed, and he shot him. What does Cassian do at the very first of Rogue One? He
gets the information out of the guy.
I can't climb out of here. My arm. He goes, "Don't worry, we're going to be okay." And then he shoots him in the back. So,
and that's something that it makes more sense when you watch it after Andor. Because if you watch Rogue One first, it's kind of like, what the heck?
What an ass.
Yeah, exactly. But then with context, you're like, all right, there you go. It's like poetry.
Yeah, which is what I thought when I watched it. I was like, what an asshole.
Yeah, that's almost like a Jedi Knight losing a fight or realizing that he wasn't perfect and then running off and hiding. What Jedi master would do that, huh?
Definitely not Yoda.
Oh, not my Luke Skywalker. He would never do that. He would still stand up and fight the Empire. Because, none of his masters did that.
Where did he find Yoda?
It works for Andor. It works for Kenobi and Yoda, but not my Luke. Luke wouldn't do that. So, Dr. Dana, if you're watching, suck it.
Oh, man.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Anyway, so again, this just kind of goes through the thing. You've got what is her name? What's the
Clea?
She is working her way.
Which is very similar to Leia, but
Kayla
whatever.
or
Kayla. Yeah, it's one of those.
Kayla, Leia. Yeah. It's Keyla.
Okay, Kayla. Yeah, it's Kayla.
So Kayla is working her way through the. What's her name's working her way through the
Luthen's assistant. There you go. We'll just call her Leia.
They've got him. He's not dead. She's in trouble though because she's gone against orders and tried to hunt him down without any backup. It wasn't her assignment anymore. And she went in without orders. And then she still was barking orders even when they're at the hospital. I need him alive. Don't let him die. Blah, 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 blah. And then she gets busted, which is hilarious.
Well, just like her boyfriend, she was so fixated on her white whale, it ended up being her downfall.
What I loved about that, and I don't mean to jump too ahead with her character, is just when she realizes that how expendable she is. Like, she thinks, oh, I'm top of the food chain. It's like, no, you're not. It's like, we'll use you till we need you,
in season 1 and some of season 2, she's been breaking protocol this whole time, pretty much. And at times, her supervisor, Pradas or whatever his name is,
Sniper Dan. That's what
The
they
supervisor.
advise them.
He's kind of let her slide, because she was, getting results. And I just think she got in that mindset where, I can keep doing this because, I'm getting praise for it. And I am bound and determined to catch my white whale, my Moby
She
Dick.
thinks she's all that,
What was his code name? Because it was very similar to Ahsoka's code name.
Who?
Luthen. What did they call? What did the Empire call him?
Axis.
Axis. What was it? So she was
Dr. Dana. I'm sorry.
What?
Dr. Dana calls the real old guy Diaper Dan. He said because he looks like he has a diaper. He's that old. Like, how's he still alive? Well, not anymore, but I mean,
Yeah, that's right. He's not around anymore. He ends up taking his his life.
That was crazy, especially when the stormtroopers react and the guy goes, just puts his hand up and is like,
"Oh, I think that guy knew exactly what was going to happen."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I was like,
"Oh, he
wow.
did."
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Because he put the gun down, and I was like, that's just crazy. Like, chilling that the Empire's like that. It's just crazy because you really get to see it.
And then Kayla, she goes in and infiltrates the hospital and takes Luthen off life support, which had to be done.
Yeah.
Loose end. Couldn't afford to have him make a recovery and be interrogated by. Well, it wasn't going to be Dedra, but it would have been Hurt or Heert. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but
yeah, I think it's like that. Yeah,
the weird guy who now he thinks he's he thinks he's all that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the shit. That's what he thinks. He got his justice hurts too.
I mean, it's just hilarious when you think about it. Everyone thinks that they're all that until they realize how expendable they really are, and that really they're just a pawn at the end of the day.
And it goes all the way to the top, because even in Rogue One, with Director Krennic, try not to choke on your aspirations, Director Krennic.
And you see it at the very end when he sees the Death Star, and he's like, "Wait a minute!" He's kind of like, "I'm still here."
Empire don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, unless you're Palpatine, Vader, or Tarkin, you're expendable. Actually, Tarkin probably is too.
Oh yeah, Tarkin. Yeah,
and the Emperor, because Vader throws him down the shaft. So unless you're Vader,
yeah. But anyway, so and again, it's funny. She gets caught. They try to spin it off onto her, that it's her fault that all of that happened, which was hilarious. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because how else would Lonnie have gotten that email? He had access to it for 3 hours.
Well, here again, she was breaking all kinds of protocols. She accidentally got that intelligence package bundle, whatever, and instead of reporting it like a normal person would, she was just like, "Oh, let me take a peek.
Peruse this real quick."
Well, and of course, her defense is, I had to be a scavenger because you guys were keeping me out of the loop or whatever. And I was like, does that
you are digging
familiar?
your own hole?
Isn't that what you did to Cyril?
Yep. How the turntables.
I think it's hilarious that she had all these big plans. They were going to identify Axis, and this was all in the previous 3 episodes with Cyril, and we're leaving. We're going to be able to go to Coruscant, and we'll be able to live comfortably, and blah blah blah. And she was set. She had her plan, and she ended up with Cyril dead and in a prison cell that looked very, very familiar to me.
Yeah, Gilroy said that it was either Narkina 2 or 7. He was like, it's the female side,
So that was obviously the prison cell and the prison uniforms from the first season when Cassian.
I would have just loved, and that was my only critique, and nothing major, but I would have just have loved if it showed her on the assembly floor in Kino as they're barking orders at her. Oh, that would have been so great. So great. That would have been awesome.
Speaking of those episodes, I remember when I watched season 1 and there was that arc of Narkina 5, and I was like, it can't get any better than this. And man, I was proven wrong, but in a good way, because last arc was leagues better, but just shows you how good the show is. They got sorry, not to go off topic here, just because it popped in my head. Someone was talking about how the budget for season 2 was like 250 plus million. I think it was like more, like somewhere in that ballpark. And they were like, why they get 50? Well, for the whole show it was, but it was like for this season, it was like,
oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And someone was like, well, why did they get such a high budget, or complain about the budget? And I was like, my thought was, well, you can see and you feel the budget on this show versus there are some shows that get big budgets or movies that get big budgets, and you're like, where'd it go?
They spent all the money on special effects and not on story and characters.
And I think a lot of this stuff was practical too, so
made it even better.
Yeah, I'll look up what the budget was.
I don't think any of it was on the volume, if I remember.
No,
because I think Gilroy said something about none of it was on the volume.
So the season 2 budget was $290 million, but you see and feel it. That's the difference.
Probably all of it was spent on the Chandrilla costumes. All the fancy dresses for Mon and all the people of Chandrilla. Because they were exquisite. They were nice.
Still a weak episode. Did not care for Mon and the Rave, but whatever. My critique. Leave me alone. You're allowed to critique. I'm allowed critiques. Did not care for Mon Mothma.
My critique is that it's over. That's my critique.
But I mean, you can't make it. You can't make a sequel for it. That's the thing. You can't.
No, you can't.
Yeah, but it was originally supposed to be 5 seasons.
Yeah, but the thing is that probably could have led to filler episodes or just like, I don't know. I kind of liked the arcs. You got a lot in a season.
I don't know. I really did not like the 3-episode drop every week. I did not like that.
Yeah,
that was rough.
It was tough.
And that's just because that was there was a lot. I mean, it was like getting a new movie every week.
Yeah, and
that's.
I'd always have to watch the 3rd episode because by the time I got to that, I was so tired. I was like not
and especially
absorbing it
in the evening time. I mean, like late. Well, for me, late evening. For Debbie, holy smokes.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was always up well past midnight.
Yikes.
So
and then I would have to watch them again on a Wednesday to take notes, so I'd be prepared for Thursday.
Well, I think they were in a lose-lose situation on one side of the fence because people, if they did an episode a week, for us that'd be great because you get it for 12 weeks. But then there are people that are like, "Oh, this is so slow." Da 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 da.
Yeah,
those same people. It was still that way.
That's their problem. Us loyal ones who totally loved season 1, the week to week, didn't find it boring, didn't find it, whatever,
Oh yeah.
But and see, with this season has been a lot more. There's been a lot more going on this season. It wasn't to me. It was not a talk episode, and now we get the Michael Bay episode.
Right.
There was a lot because we already had established characters in the first season, and then you move into the second season, and now they're moving. You see all the different parts moving all at the same time. So,
but even with the 3-episode drop, people were still complaining. Oh my god, this is so slow. This is so slow.
Well, that's
and I'm like, see, we tried to help you out, and you're still not happy. So you know what? Screw you.
Because the thing is, Star Wars,
Lucasfilm, just do a week to week. Screw the other people.
Like Star Wars has always had these political intrigue scenes and everything, and I know it's more on Andor, but it's so well written, and the thing is, these episodes were like the right length, to where they weren't like obnoxiously too long, but they were long enough that.
But they were consistent.
Exactly.
They were all at least 45 minutes to an hour.
They were all
exactly. They weren't. It wasn't the 30-minute
an hour
crap.
and a minute or two over. So
yeah, it wasn't that 30-minute crap.
There was enough there to where if it was a primetime network TV show, it could run in a 1-hour time slot with commercials and everything else. So yeah, that was done well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's move on to Andor. What's he doing?
Episode 11.
He goes to extract fake Leia.
Ayla.
She looks like her though, a little bit, in my opinion.
Ayla. He goes to extract her. He gets the message from her. Basically we've got this. It's forgot what the words. It was Galen Erso, Jeddah,
Scarif, Gorman.
There was one other one I thought, maybe not.
Hold on, I wrote it down somewhere on here. Wait a minute. Gorman, Scarif, Kyber, Krennic, Erso.
There you go.
And that's not Jen Erso, that's Galen Erso, by the way.
Oh yeah.
A lot of name drop for him. So
yeah.
But anyway, so Galen Erso, obviously big important player in Rogue One when it comes out. So it was good to see the name drop and connecting him. I do want to. This all happens like 1 year prior to the Battle of Yavin, and we know that Rogue One takes place like
it's also considered
right before the Battle of Yavin. So
yeah,
they've got they still have this whole year worth of stories where they could. Well, we're hunting down Jen now. We need to find who Jen is. So
yeah, because I saw I think it was the most recent official timeline book for Star Wars placed Rogue One in.
I see him.
Placed it in 1 BBY. Rogue One is in 1 BBY as well, and then A New Hope is considered 0 BBY, because Rogue One takes place hours after Andor ends. If that.
Hi guys.
Hi Cam. How are you?
I am very, very tired.
I believe it.
I don't blame you.
We were. I'm honestly surprised you're here.
To be honest, I kind of am too. If only you guys knew what's been going on the last few days. I'll tell you all about it in the after show.
For those that don't know, Cam is moving in the process of moving. He is moving from Florida up to Tennessee, right?
That's correct. Yep.
So he moved like this past weekend. So good on him for, again, we weren't expecting. Cam, we've just been talking about, obviously, Andor.
We're on episode 11.
Episode 11, we've got Cassian, and we get to see a little bit of the relationship between him and K2SO.
Love K2.
He's so great. So great.
Yeah, definitely nice to have him back.
Now we lost Andrew.
Guess it was Andrew's turn to drop out.
What is going on tonight?
Don't know. I blame you.
Yeah, this time, yeah. Oh.
Night. See you in the morning, okay? All right. They're playing the gambling, whatever that gambling game is, because now I see another Star Wars themed board game coming up in the near future, soon to buy at Walmart. That's featured on Andor.
I'm surprised it's not like a Pirates of the Caribbean game.
Yeah,
because they were kind of
Sabak and Payzok wasn't enough,
right?
Yeah. I mean, they played kind of the same game on Pirates, so 5
with the
5s, 10 10s.
Yeah. We've played 658 games, and he's never bid that high.
But everybody knows it. Everyone knows when it comes to gambling, all gamblers quit right before they're about to win big.
Because they're tired of losing big. But anyway,
it's supposed to be an ironic joke.
I got it.
But anyway, he hears about her and he goes and we need to get her out of there. We need to extract her. Now, I do want to say this. You've got the ISB and I guess it's their security guys that they're like half stormtroopers, but not really. They've got the shoulder armor,
mustache man,
and they've got the black hats and everything. And I'm just looking at it, going, "Oh, geez, that's going to be next year at Comic-Con. That's going to be everywhere. That's going to be the big." Everybody likes that because I thought it looked great. I thought it looked amazing.
During the watch party, as soon as the guy with the mustache came on, Dana was like, "I want Cassian to shoot him right now."
Well, you know, in stories like these, having a mustache like that is kind of like wearing a red shirt.
Yeah,
exactly.
And honestly, too, I was again. This was one of those ones where Cassian gets to her. They're trying to get her out of there. She's kind of not stormtroopers, drizzle troopers.
There you go.
Maybe like a mist trooper, just misting. It's not quite storming. But anyway, they're trying to talk her into getting out of there, and she doesn't want to leave.
That's what pissed me off. I'm like, quit talking, knock her out, get out of there. I mean, you're sitting there left for 10 minutes, and in the meantime, the imps are on your ass. Come on.
And
they got to fill out that runtime.
Yeah.
Oh God, I was so pissed. I was yelling at the TV.
Get out. Talk later. Leave now. Talk later.
You can tell me this shit on the ship.
Yeah.
But I don't think she wanted to leave. I think she still had that somewhat of a father-daughter connection with Luthen, and he self-sacrificed, and she wanted to do the same thing.
I don't know about that. She didn't want to go to Yavin because of the way people felt about Luthen. She'd be treated as a parasite or something like that. People would look down on her, and even though, those two are responsible for getting the little sparks of hope and rebellion out there, because you could see how disorganized they were on Yavin.
Well, even that at where was he in the first episode? Was that Yavin that he was on in the first episode, where they were playing rock paper scissors to see who gets to fly, who gets to steal his ship? When he had the TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Was that on Yavin?
I don't remember.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Now I got to go back and watch the first episode.
Darn it! I'll just go back and watch. Darn.
I was gonna say I don't recall any big title card or anything that told us where we were.
Oh. But anyway, of course, the imps are coming in, and honestly, I was kind of halfway expecting them to be in the wrong place, and they were just going to walk out, and as they were walking out as the imps were walking in, kind of thing. And
well, they kind of did it first. They went to the wrong place.
yeah, but
if they hadn't been yapping their mouths off, they could have been walking out. Again, knock her ass out and carry her to the ship. Simple.
Asking characters to do the smart thing is very, very high. It's a very tall order, unfortunately.
Well, I'm beginning to think I'm a violent person because, I'd have just knocked her out. Bitch, you're coming with us. We didn't come all this way just to sit here and talk and leave you behind. No.
Oh, well, I've told you, now just go and let me be. And it's like, no.
Let me be a martyr.
Exactly.
You can be a martyr elsewhere. Let's go.
Exactly.
But then they throw the grenade, and of course that blows everything to crap. And then Kay comes and rescues everybody. God bless him.
That's great. That first one knocking that guy off the bridge.
Yes. Yeah.
And then using that asshole guy hurt here, whatever, as a shield.
That was great.
That was like chef's kiss. That was so awesome. I laughed so hard.
And I was like, a blaster too.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up, and that's funny because he had one there, but then at the in Rogue One he doesn't have one. He doesn't have one until Jen gives him one. He wanted
I can't have a blaster, but she can. What?
Yeah.
I know how to use it. That's what scares me.
Oh yeah, that was great.
But they end up getting off of Yavin, and Cassian gets off of Yavin, of course, back to Yavin, and of course Cassian gets reamed when he gets back there.
Freaking Yavin, man! I still hate that guy. Even after watching this show and then going into Rogue One, I still hate this guy. He's just an asshole all the way around.
Well, he's kind of like, what we were talking about with Dedra. He kind of thinks he's all that on the rebellion side of things, even though he's he's on the council, but he's not the top of the council there, or board that they have there.
Yeah, and then the
especially when he says, you're confined to quarters, and can I stop by infirmary on the way out? And Mon's like, before he could say anything, Mon jumps up. Yes, please do.
And here we are with the council, even though they don't have a quorum, but Cassian is telling them everything.
Yeah, he's defending Luthen. Yeah.
And they're still sitting there. Well, we need to discuss this. We'll discuss this more in the morning. I'm like, here we go. Government, you suck.
Well, I mean,
there's no time to be talking.
Exactly. Council is a bad thing.
And that's, the same thing happened in Rogue One too.
Yeah.
Again, it mirrors Rogue One, where Jen says, "Look, we gotta go get the plans. There's a weakness in this thing. We gotta go get the plans." And they're like, "Well,
they haven't changed. Yeah, they're all still like, well,
yeah.
how do you know? Da, da, da.
Yeah, it's like they had such a bias against Luthen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can't trust him. Da 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 da. I'm like, and I liked how Cassian came back and said, well, because they asked him when was the last time you talked to Luthen. A year ago, when he sent me to save Mon Mothma.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then she looks at Bail, and Bail's like, "Yep,
that's right." Yeah, and he even says, he's like, Luthen has sacrificed. All of y'all combined haven't sacrificed half of what Luthen has sacrificed for us. Yeah,
they haven't done anything outside of setting up a base on Dantooine and now over on Yavin, and they were still very unorganized.
Yeah.
So, yeah. At least Luthen was getting shit going and getting everything in motion.
Jedha Kyber or so. What else happened in this one? Was that it?
Well, I know
they gave him.
Krennic told the old guy that he can't protect him anymore.
Mm-hmm. What did we think about Krennic questioning Dedra?
Especially after hearing her interview today.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Because when that scene popped up, I was like, man, she really looks scared shitless. And, well, there was a reason. It wasn't in the script.
Yeah.
Well, hell, if I had Mendelsohn interrogating me, I'd probably piss my pants too.
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole...
with his finger on her head.
Duck, duck, goose.
Where does that even come from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Stephanie says, "Why was he touching her face so much? The germs."
I did too at first.
I thought he was going to try and choke her.
He would give her the satisfaction.
She's been there before, getting choked.
You think she would change her ways after, two guys try to choke her? It's like, that's a common denominator there.
She likes asphyxiation. That's all.
That's right.
So I assume we're on to 12 now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we see Saw on a hollow on Jedha.
And he looks like Saw from Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the breathing.
You were calling me a liar.
Yeah, and he's basically ripping Mon a new one because she's calling him an extremist, and kind of the same thing with Luthen. What the hell have you done? I've done more than you have. Very true.
Yeah.
But, we really see his paranoia coming out because, he thinks that Mon and them are sending spies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After him, and I'm weeding him out with whatever that thing is.
Borgullet.
Yeah, Borgullet. And she tries to tell him
and thoughts.
She tries to tell him that's not us sending people. That's the Empire. And of course,
you've got a destroyer sitting over your city.
Yeah,
and it's been there for a little while. You can't.
Yeah, he's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, sniffing too much of that.
And in a few days, his planet will be no more.
I really love or really hate.
Yeah.
What was that, Cam?
I said he's one of those characters that I just can't tell whether I really love him or really hate him. But
there are times.
But if I love him, it's for the wrong reasons.
But it's such a great character because we've seen him grow since Clone Wars.
Yeah. Literally.
So, yeah. Great arc for him.
Maybe we got to do that arc next.
Yeah.
Let's do an arc on.
I'll have to remember what season it is because I don't remember.
Why don't we just go through the Clone Wars?
We can go through the Clone Wars.
There you go.
Fine.
Instead of just doing arcs.
I can't wait till we get to the arc of the droids in like the desert.
I want to get to the arc.
That one we can skip. That one we can skip until the last episode of that arc because that's when it gets good.
Maybe we can skip the first few episodes of season 7 too.
No, the first 5 were good. That's those middle 3 or 4.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. With his twins.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's pretty rough. Lordy. Anyway, but yes, amazing. You got what was Andor's buddy's name? that he was playing. Melshi.
Melshi, yeah.
Yeah, he was on. You got him training soldiers basically on Yavin. And of course,
I loved when K2 wakes up Cassian and says, "Waking up humans, always odd," or something like that. Never get used to it. And then he's like, "The man you don't like is here."
And the man you don't like is here.
and Bale's right there, droids,
I'm not sure I don't know that I like exactly what they did with Bale's character in this one. Just because he was such a. I mean, I guess if you come from a peaceful planet, no weapons, blah 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 blah, you're going to have that mindset. But he was really just he really had a burr under his saddle about something in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was just because of Cassian or what, but it was just did not care for it.
I think he was. I think like a lot of the other senators.
Yeah, we lost
her again. I think like a lot of the senators, he's just set. He's set in his ways, And,
no clue.
Yeah, I don't know. Lucasfilm is trying to take us down. So I don't really know. I think Benjamin Bratt did a good job though of playing.
Oh, I'm not saying he did a bad job.
But
I don't. I'm.
Yeah. It is a little confusing, I guess, when you think about how he is in this and then Rogue One.
Yeah, because in Rogue One, and even in Rogue One, I mean, he didn't say much in Rogue One other than it was they're talking about your friend the Jedi, and
that's true. He's only in the one scene in Rogue One,
and then he's talking obviously about Leia. She's never let me down. So,
well, you've read the book Debbie, Reign of Empire. I assume he's in that quite a bit, or Mask of Fear.
Oh, Bale? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that gives more context on why he's like this in Andor. I got to read the book because I got it.
Him and Mon Mothma go through some shit.
Well, there you go.
But of course, someone's going to blame it on the writers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Again, nothing is 100% perfect. I've come to that determination and that realization. We have each had a gripe about it, even though this season was nothing less than spectacular.
Oh yeah.
We've all had just little issues here and there, that things we would have changed. But...
And really, my only issue, it's not necessarily with the show; it's just the release. But, oh well.
My only issue with it is just a couple of pacing issues. Nothing too crazy. It's like some scenes felt like they dragged on a little bit too long and kind of overstayed their welcome. Other times, especially in like the first couple episodes, it's like you spend like 3 minutes here and then 3 minutes here and then 3 minutes here, and it felt kind of jarring at times. But otherwise, it's been about as damn near perfect of TV as I've seen.
Well, that's what, and I know other people have said this too, and I've said this last week, that episode 8 and 9 are two of the best TV episodes I've ever seen. Not even just Star Wars, like I mean, across the board for TV. It's like if Andor doesn't win some kind of Emmy other than like visual effects,
won't.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing, is because it'll have the Star Wars attached to it. People will be like, "Oh, whatever." Voters will be like,
that Star Wars crap."
Yeah,
like
nerd,
that.
and yeah.
Although
it's called Andor, a Star Wars story.
Well, that it had the would have wanted at least one episode about getting into the testing facility to steal the tie. I mean,
we did that in the first episode.
Yeah, but we did that in the first. He wanted
like
one
before
episode
that, like how
setting it up.
Like getting there. And there'll probably be some kind of comic book that comes out that.
Yeah, like I said, you can there's gaps in this story. I mean, each one of these episode arcs there was a year gap between them.
Yeah.
So,
and even within that, they they only take place over a couple of days within those years. So it's not, so it's like, there's definitely room for some kind of book, companion book, or short story companion, or comics. Yeah. That
I prefer beat books because I read books, but
yeah. So yeah. What do we think about Bix?
I think
I cried. I cried.
I did too. Because then you think
that's why she left.
Yeah. And then you think to the Rogue One ending. I mean, he just never knows. He never gets back.
No, he never finds out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's bittersweet, but then it gives you hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gilroy said it. I saw a clip of an interview, someone asking if the baby had a name or identity, and he was like, nope. He was like, we never got that far. So
yeah,
probably won't ever see that kid, and probably
everybody was like, oh, that's Poe Dameron's.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, no, we know them in the comics and the book, I think.
They were in Shattered Empire, the comic book series Shattered Empire.
Yeah. And then there was another.
In fact, they both fought in the Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
Well, and that would put Poe to be too old, right? By the time the sequels get around.
Oh yeah, at that point, his 50s or I think 50s.
Yeah. So just from a timeline standpoint, it doesn't add up.
Yeah. Too bad it couldn't have been like Mando's parents. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would be
Latino.
I mean, anybody's parent. I mean, I want this to be a completely original character with no ties to anybody else. Like, continuing to be, is it this person's parent or is this person that person's parent? Or it's like I don't know. It makes the universe feel small.
Yeah. Well, and I truly feel like if let's say it was Poe's parents or didn't drop, like I feel like they would have done a name drop.
Yeah.
Like she would, let's just say it was Poe, she probably would have said like Poe or like to confirm it. But yeah, leaving it with no name or
although that reminded me of something, and it made me laugh. And yeah, you said, Debbie, it made you cry. The scene made you cry, and I understand that, and I get that. But that scene also made me laugh because I had a friend, and we went to go see the Pirates of the Caribbean movies when they all came out, and the World's End. At World's End, you've got Orlando Bloom's character, and now he's Davy Jones, and he only gets to set foot on land once every 10 years, and blah blah blah. And he spends the one night with Keira Knightley, and then the last scene is him coming back and her coming across the field. Well, what would have been funny is if she was coming across the field and she had a little 10-year-old boy with her, and you would have thought, oh, that's his son from when he saw her 10 years ago. Blah blah blah. Oh, that makes perfect sense. But then it pans around and that kid looks like Jack Sparrow. That would have been
hilarious.
That'd have been great.
Running all funny.
But I like that they didn't kill her off, because I kept thinking up until that point, oh, she's gonna die, or she just something. And so I'm glad that they didn't use the not in Rogue One as an excuse to just kill her off.
And she's there with B2. He's not alone. He's playing with other droids.
He's like, one more time and I win.
Yeah, I think Tony said something about, because people were asking about, well, there was speculation that Clea was Cassian's sister.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And Tony was like, no.
Again,
you don't need to tie up every little thing.
Yeah. People can be their own thing.
And again, like Cam said, it just, when you start making families just everywhere, it's just the galaxy shrinks.
Exactly.
But I really liked the montage at the end with him. Yeah, he's got his Rogue One outfit on, and he's strolling through the camp, and that the music starts kind of low, and then it just keeps building and building and building and building. And yeah, he sees that Force healer, and she looks at him, he looks at her, and just kind of nods. And I'm like, oh, she knows what's happening, and he's going to his destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me cry too. It don't take much to make me cry.
Yeah.
Something stupid and emotional. Yeah. Waterworks are here. Waterworks are here.
There you go.
All right. Do we have anything else?
Thank you, Star Wars, for giving us a show.
Oh, one more
That's
thing.
a little cheesy, so.
Oh.
One more thing, which I thought was really cool. We got to hear the manifesto that is now spreading through the galaxy.
Right.
Nemix from season 1 during the heist. The guy that got swooshed.
Yeah.
That was great.
Did y'all stay through the credits? Did you hear what was in the credits?
The
main Star Wars theme plays.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I didn't initially watch it, and I kept seeing online people like, stay through the credits. And I'm like, is there a post-credit scene or something? So I went back, and that's what it is.
Disney's gotten
surprised by that.
Yeah.
Disney's actually gotten really good about the post-credit scene, where if there is one now, it'll pop up a button and say skip credits, so you can go watch the post-credit scene. So if I don't see that skip credits and it jumps immediately into the, it shrinks down and the other screen, that's like, right, there ain't nothing. Let's turn it off.
And that that Tivik who's on Kafrene, who keeps calling and will only talk to Andor. I thought that was a really good connection, and of course that leads right into Rogue. That's the very first scene,
right?
So
someone's got to do an edit of the. I know the beginning of Rogue One's with Jyn as a kid, but you like take that and put it elsewhere and like edit the end of Andor with the beginning of Rogue One. Be kind of cool. Kind of like what Rogue One does to A New Hope.
Do it?
I'm sure
I missed what you said.
Well, because the opening scene of Rogue One is with Jyn as a girl, and it shows like
a young girl.
But kind of like how with Rogue One, it literally ends right where A New Hope starts. It'd be cool to see like an edit of like where Andor ends with him flying off and him landing on the planet in Rogue One.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyway. Do we have any fan questions tonight, Andrew?
I can double check, but not to my knowledge. But you can start on the shameless plugs if you want. If I see any, I'll let you know.
Cool. Shameless plugs. What do we got tonight, Debbie?
Okay, tomorrow night over on the Geek and I podcast, we are starting season 2 of the original series Star Trek, episode 1, Who Mourns for Adonis? Saturday.
I don't mourn for him at all.
Well, if you remember the Marvel movie Apocalypse,
yeah,
that's what's playing in Storm's little house when she was a kid. There's a TV, and that's the episode that's playing. Just a little Marvel trivia for you.
I try not to think about that.
Remember that movie, but okay.
Yikes!
Just a little Marvel trivia in case it pops up. Anyways,
you're a trivia night.
Saturday is Geek Gauntlet. Monday we will be back with episode 2 of Jessica Jones over on the MCU Monday.
So you were saying that like you were trying to remember.
I was like, I'm struggling here, people. Tuesday, do you guys know what you're talking about?
I don't remember what Dana said. I forgot.
Okay. Yeah. Check them out over on the Sith
I had
Dominion.
one job and I just...
You had one job and you suck.
Yep.
Wednesday, yesterday, War of the Stars posted a video about Thrawn. And so next Wednesday, they'll drop another video on something. And then we'll be back, I assume, talking Underworld.
Yeah.
You assume correctly.
All right, cool. Because I already made the thumbnail for it.
There you go.
That was boring
6
work. I was like, I'm
episodes?
going to go ahead and make a thumbnail.
Which, if you haven't seen Underworld yet, go see it because it's actually really, really good.
It is good, yeah.
So, Cam, do you have anything shameless plug wise?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we had to postpone Cam and Focus Weekly this past Sunday because
Mother's Day.
Well, there's that.
Oh,
that fact that I was coming off the tail end of an 18-hour drive.
Oof.
Yeah, it was rough. So this coming Sunday, we are finally doing Blues Brothers. It's been getting pushed back and pushed back. We are freaking doing Blues Brothers. Damn.
We're on a mission from God. We have to do it next week.
Yes, exactly. I need some Elwood in my life. But yes, that'll be on this Sunday. Now 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I keep on having to remind myself I'm not in the same time zone anymore.
There you go.
So yeah.
Wait.
Blues Brothers on Sunday.
Well, Tennessee is Central.
Where are you guys Central? You're not far from me. We're Eastern.
I don't know how the time zones work.
So you're on Texas time, basically. Right?
Yeah. What,
I mean,
we're 1 hour behind Florida.
It's 9:33 there right now.
See, it's 10:33 here.
Mm-hmm.
Now Debbie's mad.
Yeah. So, but it's still 9 o'clock my time, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. As long as that didn't change, because I'd have been sitting here going, God, what time and what freaking time zone, even though you're only a state or two away from me. Freaking time zones. They need to get rid of those.
Yep.
Andrew, you have anything shameless plug wise?
Not really. I don't think I can announce anything just yet, so nope.
Probably wise. Yes. Oh, well.
There's something sneaky going on.
It's all been said, you know.
I don't know. You never know with Andrew.
Yeah, you never know. As Dana says, I get around, so I just pop up here and there, you know. So
2 weeks. We're about 2 weeks away from Fan Expo. Not Fan Fest. Fan Fest is in October. Fan Expo. We're about 2 weeks away. Andrew and I will be there live and in person. I've got a bunch of stuff I'm giving away, so come find us out there. We're gonna be doing the con. I'm hoping that they'll have schedules up in the next week or two, so I can kind of plan what I want to go watch and what I want to go see and who I want to go see. And Andrew said he's down for the Back to the Future thing, and I'm looking at that going, that's going to be the big draw, and I'm going to avoid that like the plague because that's where everybody's going to be. I'm just like, nope, I'm not having it.
Now, do they do those by lotto or just first come, first serve?
They do. It's first come, first serve. It's going to be for first come, first serve. Are you talking about for like autographs and stuff, or are you talking about
no, the panel Back to the Future?
No, it'll be first come, first serve. VIPs and press will have first access, but then
there you go.
Once the hall is full, that's it.
Y'all don't have press passes?
Yeah, we
do. Yeah.
So you should be able to get in, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Out my past, and, you know. Yeah, like see, it's right here, you know.
All 2 of my subscribers love me.
And it's just my mom and my mom's
and
old
my
Google
dad.
account. Yeah, my mom and my dad. You know.
And sometimes my co-host.
And sometimes my grandma, she can stay awake. You know.
All right. That's going to be it for us tonight, folks. Y'all all have a great, great weekend. We will see you all next week right here in the Cantina Y'all have a great rest of your week, and may the force be with you all.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Pocket sand! Ah! Yeah!